Well, the weather has turned out beautiful for our final day here at the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship in Gulf Shores. Semifinal between LSU and USC. Today will be a little bit different format than we've seen over the past 2 days. We are going to play in flights, meaning we will see the 4 and 5s play first. Once they have finished their matches, then we will see pairs 1, 2, and 3 come out. Everything else stays the same. It's each match is still best 2 out of 3 sets, and the first team to win 3 matches is going to win this duel and move on to the championship duel against UCLA. Here's the lineup between LSU and USC. We are going to see the 4s and 5s first, but this 1s matchup is going to be really crucial.
Yeah, I think this is absolutely crucial that LSU win at the 1 position for them to be victorious. Claire Coppola and Kristen Nuss are so strong, but they have to play their best volleyball right now.
Sam Gore and Holly McPeak will be watching the 5s to start out for us. Welcome in, guys.
Thank you, Courtney. And Holly, talking about the 5s for USC, this was a question mark coming into championship week, but the 5s for the Trojans have performed well.
You're absolutely right. Cammie Dorn and Molly Eberton have scored 2 points for USC in the elimination rounds, and those are crucial points for your team.
Now let's talk about LSU. Allison Cohens has been suffering from mono. She's been pulled out of the lineup today. She will be replaced by sophomore Kaylee York.
Well, this is a pair that's playing together for the first time, but Kaylee York brings fresh legs and some experience. She's played 15 matches this year at the 2 spot, so it's going to be a great matchup.
Can't wait, and now we're going to send it over to Holly Rowe for more on LSU.
Well, LSU is trying to do something they have not done before in their short history, get to that championship duel. But to do it, they've got to get past USC. Right before they took the sand today, after warm-ups, they all huddled up together, and their coach, Russell Brock, and his assistants each had special messages to deliver to their team. Some of the things they said were, I don't want it to be any question who has the most energy and who wants it more. They want continuous energy, fight from their LSU Tigers. And then they also brought up Stetson. Stetson is the first number 8 seed to beat a number 1 seed when they toppled USC on day 1. He said, we can be just like Stetson. We don't need to be afraid of USC. We don't need to be intimidated by USC. If we come out and play Tiger ball, we will advance. They want to have that fire and that fight, and their energy flag that has kept them going this whole tournament is going to lead the way for the Tigers today, hopefully against at USC.
And LSU has certainly brought the energy all weekend long. I love the energy flag. You're going to see a lot from their fans. Series history between these two programs. This is the 3rd meeting. USC leads the series 2-1. The only time LSU has been able to beat USC was last year during the regular season. They would love to change that here today in the semifinals. It can't be understated how much energy can really help you on this stage when there's so much on the line.
Yeah, you heard head coach Russell Brock talk about it. He wants his LSU Tigers to bring as much energy as possible, really bring it to another level, because that can get you more relaxed. That can get you kind of going. Remember, there's jitters on this final day because this is uncharted territory for LSU. This is the furthest they've ever been in this tournament, and I don't think he'll have any problem with having the energy, especially on the 1s court.
Well, you know, too, for USC, they've been playing their best beach volleyball right now. They're really on a roll.
Yeah, USC is really something special. They're on fire, 32-2 on the season. They have really been able to take it to teams. And what sets them apart from some of the other pairs is the fact that they're constantly consistent. They do it day in, day out, and it's rare that they have a bad match. They really have come together, and they're very difficult to beat.
Yeah, they've proven that after falling in that very first duel in this tournament. They have been unstoppable since. Again, the 4s and 5s will be playing first. We are playing in flights today. The first team to win on 3 courts will win the duel, and moving on to the winner-take-all national championship duel later today. We'll start out with the 4s here. Olivia Beyer and Maddie Ligon for LSU taking on Joy Dennis and Maya Kaiser. And for USC, their 4 and 5s have been a little inconsistent this year.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. 16-8 on the year for Dennis and Kaiser. And they're very athletic. They can play at a very high level, but consistency is an issue. So hard to get out there every single time and play at a high level. And LSU, you can hear the crowd. They are in much closer proximity to this venue, so I think they're going to have a huge advantage in terms of crowd noise and crowd support. And USC is just going to have to try to block that noise out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the last time USC played in front of a really big crowd was in the Pac-12s, but they were at home. So it was a lot of their fans cheering for them. As to right now, man, LSU, the fans are getting loud.
Yeah, that can really, as a player, make you a little more relaxed. You know, you hear the crowd cheering for you. You kind of settle down, and some of the tension goes away.
Here comes Maddie Ligon. Maya Kaiser right back at Ligon. Joy Dennis down the line and in.
So smart. You know, Joy Dennis is such an athlete. And for her, it's just been a mental game. Can she bring her A game every time? Sometimes you see an athlete maybe doesn't have the tools to get certain things done, but Joy Dennis knows exactly how to do it. You see the vision right there and putting it in the deep corner.
Dane, this is the first time in this tournament that we've seen them play in flights. Does that put more pressure on the 4s and 5s when they go first?
Well, absolutely. You want to win at least one of these two matches at the 4 and 5. If you go down 0-2, it puts a ton of pressure on your 1, 2s, and 3s in that second flight. So you want to come out on fire. There's pressure on the 4 and 5, but you just want to kind of set the tone. You can really get your team off on the right foot. Wow, what a dig by Kaiser. Unable to put it away, but there it is at the net. Joy Dennis, there's that athleticism. You put the ball close to the net, she's going to eat it up. That set has to be about 2 feet off the net in order for LSU to get a good offensive attack. There you see it's in that zone where Joy can just get over the net and get a hold of it.
4 straight points for USC. Stops right there thanks to Olivia Byer.
Love that play by Byer, ripping the ball. You want to be as aggressive as possible to kind of get yourself in the right mindset right off the bat.
8-1 this season as a pair. Olivia Byer has just come over to the beach after playing 4 years of indoor for LSU as a middle blocker, and we were talking to Russell Brock about that, the head coach. They were kind of wondering, how does that skill set translate to the beach? Because we saw Byer run a lot of slides and attack off of 1 foot in the indoor game as a middle.
Yeah, when you're running a lot of slides, you see that a lot in the women's indoor game. It is difficult to get used to jumping off 2 feet. There's a nice little roll over the net, and that ball will go down for Maddie Ligon. But you're absolutely right. The translation from indoor to beach can be challenging if you're used to running a lot of 1-footed slides, because you don't see that play run on the beach very often. How about Maya Kaiser right there, taking a look at the defense. You want to come in, take a look at the defense, and Joy Dennis's responsibility is to look as well and give Maya a call. That time the line was the exact call.
Oh, Olivia Byer with the pokey.
Smart play right there, catching the USC Trojans a little bit off guard. That's when you throw it over on that second contact.
An ace for Byer.
Olivia Byer with a beautiful line-to-line serve. She starts on the line, serves it straight down the line. It's difficult for the receiver to get the angle to pass that ball, and that time Maya Kaiser shanks it into the crowd.
We are playing to 21 in the first 2 sets. You have to win by 2. Free ball coming to USC. Dennis will bump set Kaiser, and Olivia Byer was there, but Kaiser going with the angle.
And that's what's so very important. You saw Maya Kaiser shank a ball. What did she do? She just shook it off, got on to the next play, and then had a strong offense there. In the sport of beach volleyball, you got to let the last play go, because if you don't, it's a momentum sport. It can move quickly, and you can find yourself down by a few points.
Maddie Ligon on the kill. For LSU, this program is really surging right now. It has taken a lot of work, but they have made a lot of noise this season. Russell Brock is his 3rd season as the head coach, but him and Fran Flory, who's the indoor coach, really started establishing this beach program 6 seasons ago, and then Brock took over in his 3rd season to build LSU. They've got a great facility now to go with this program, and you're going to keep seeing the Tigers on this stage. Here comes Kaiser with nobody on. What an up by Beyer. She was falling into the ref stand. Scrappy rally, but it's Maya Kaiser finishing it.
Really scrappy rally on both sides of the net, especially on the LSU side, trying to do everything. There you see a joust up at the net. Joy Dennis keeps it on the LSU side. Deep shot that Kaiser handles, and then she has to hit from about 5 feet off, and it's just good enough and out of reach by Ligon.
I feel like USC's block has really taken advantage of the undersized Maddie Ligon when she has to attack at the net.
Yeah, they've definitely targeted her a little bit. And that's what you want to do. There's so many different strategies. It's not always about going to the shorter player, maybe the player that has weaker setting ability, anything to get them out of system. And there's Joy Dennis jumping into the angle at the very last second. Great read as a blocker. You see Joy, she'll take the line and then last second jumps into the angle. The hitter cannot see that late move. And that block was textbook.
USC has gone on a 4-1 run since that ace by LSU. And there's the Tigers figuring out that block from Joy Dennis.
Yeah, I like Olivia Byer's offense. She really comes in composed. She comes slow to fast. And when I say that, you start your approach a little slower, but you always want to end quickly and get up and be aggressive. That ball's wide. Wow. You earn a couple points, you cannot give them back easy points. You want your opposition earning every point, and when you hit an unforced error out of bounds, that's not the case.
Well, that's kind of been the struggle for this USC fours pair, is the unforced errors of giving away free points.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Consistency, we saw some errant passes earlier, but then they get back into it. You got to do it every single play.
Ligon, nobody on. Another LSU save. And Joy Dennis goes over Olivia Beyer for the point. USC up 12-9 here in the first set at the fours. Beautiful day at the beach on this championship Sunday here in Gulf Shores. The 4s and 5s are playing right now. We are playing flights today, so once they conclude, we will see the 1, 2, and 3 pairs for both of these teams here in the semifinal. We've been following the 4s, but we want to get you over to the 5s with Sam Gore and Holly McPeak.
Thank you, Courtney. This has been a highly competitive opening set. Both teams have had the lead at one point or another. And remember, this is a new team for LSU, as Kaylee York was put in place of Allison Cohens, who, quite honestly, Russell Brock said he was amazed they got as much out of Cohen as they did because of the mono she contracted 3 weeks ago. But York is a very worthy replacement. At the moment, USC on a 6-1 run to retake the lead. And they get a 7-1 run.
Some unforced errors by LSU lately, but Hunter Domansky had 2 aces earlier. York had 1 as well to keep it close. Now Dorn and Everton playing some good defense.
And LSU has seen enough of this 7-1 run. They've taken a timeout. Now let's head back over to the 4s.
Well, it was a really big block by Olivia Beyer that just put a point on the board for LSU, but that shot will go in, and it's a 4-point lead here for USC. We're playing to 21. You have to win by 2. Maya Kaiser. Maddie Ligon goes wide, still trying to feel out that block of Joy Dennis.
Yeah, Joy Dennis's block has caused some problems for LSU early here. She's making some late moves. LSU hasn't quite figured out where she's going to be, and it's causing confusion, therefore some unforced errors.
Beyer, nobody on, right down the middle of the sand. Oh, and Maya Kaiser with some help from the net tape. Anna Collier might like that one. She'll take the point.
Yeah, nice little roll shot. Anna Collier just recently voted the Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Also a 2-time NCAA beach volleyball champion. Also won the AVCA National Championship in 2015. So has had a lot of success, over 200 victories for her as a coach. The second best coach, doesn't even have 150, so that kind of gives you an idea of how successful Anna Collier has been at USC.
There goes Olivia Beyer.
What a great play, great reaction at the net. Maya Kaiser ends up trying to cover herself, and then it goes over the net. Beyer has a complete open backcourt, and some frustration and confusion for the Trojans there. Right now, LSU really needs to make a run. You want to cut into this 4-point lead.
Again, we are playing in flights, so the 4s and 5s, the only pairs in action right now. We want to send you back to the 5s now.
Well, the 7-1 run ended right out of that timeout, as LSU was able to side out immediately, and now USC wins this point as they change ends.
Molly Eberton doing a really nice job for USC on side out, consistently putting that ball away. But USC is not serving as tough as LSU.
You mentioned LSU. Holly Rowe is standing by with more on the Tigers. Holly?
Well, you think about the unique situation for Kaylee York. Coach had told her, be ready every day here at the beach, but it wasn't until last night she found out she'd be playing here in the national semifinal. And we saw some early nerves from her and her partner, Hunter Domansky, here on the 5s. Couple of calls against them with double hits or illegal contact, some missed serves, but they have started to settle down and they are plugging away right now against this USC pair. But imagine trying to be quick chemistry with the brand new pair in the national semifinal. No pressure.
You ever been in that situation, Holly? How do you make the best of it?
Well, I mean, it's a fresh start. Sometimes your first time on the court with somebody is fantastic, and sometimes you have to figure out the differences in your game. But York's got a power game, and Domansky is scrappy and can transition the ball really well for LSU.
York has been playing at the 2s when she's been in the lineup this year. This is her first duel at the 5s. Domansky back to serve for LSU. Domansky, a sophomore from New Braunfels, Texas, comes from a tennis family. York comes from a football family. That's out. Point USC, 17-14. As we welcome back in the 4s.
Well, LSU just benefited from a couple of errors from USC, but the Trojans still on top, 19-15, 2 points away from taking the opening set.
Yeah, despite the early energy that we saw from LSU, and especially the crowd support they got, USC, Dennis, and Kaiser have really taken it to them early.
What an up from Beyer. And to the back corner goes Maddie Ligon.
Such a smart shot to go to that deep corner right when it's open.
USC extends its lead 18-15 at the 5s on the left side of your screen. So both these sets coming rapidly to a conclusion.
And timeout has been called at the fours.
Perfect. And USC now 2 points away from securing the opening set at the fives.
Cami Dorn dropping off the net, playing defense, and able to transition that ball deep for USC.
That's a look at Molly Eberton. Yesterday was her 19th birthday. Point saved by LSU. And no change ends. In volleyball, you change ends every 7 points in the first 2 sets. If we get to a third set, you switch every 5 points.
Right now, LSU is on the better side. Wind has completely changed since the last 2 days. It's going a different direction, going towards the ocean. Hunter Domanski has had success serving from this corner.
Domanski delivered an ace earlier in this set when the score was tied at 7. And there's another good serve.
Hunter Domanski using the correct corner. You want to be in that far corner and go aggressive into the wind. If you see the flags, you can see which direction the wind is going, and Domanski takes great advantage of that with the ace.
That is a characteristic of this LSU team. They are scrappy. It is tough to put the Tigers away. They played a 21 win by 2. And USC has set point.
You heard the call from Molly Eberton, line over, but Cami Dorn stays aggressive, hitting that ball deep and cross for the kill.
Dorn with the highest GPA on the USC team, a 3.73 in psychology. She's also assigned model. And a violation on LSU gives the opening set to USC. So USC takes the opening set at the fives in this 2 out of 3 set match. Let's head back to the fours.
USC has the chance to take the opening set at the fours too, Sam. Joy Dennis and Maya Kaiser are up 19-16 on Olivia Beyer and Maddie Ligon coming out of this timeout.
Yeah, I think it is crucial that LSU win one of these matches, either the 4 or the 5. I think they may have a better possibility at that number 5 position. Now they're already down a set, so the pressure's starting to mount. If LSU can't get a victory here, it puts way too much pressure on the 1, 2s, and 3s, which will happen in flight number 2.
LSU is on a 5-1 run right now. Great hustle from Maddie Ligon. And it pays off with a point. 6-1 run for LSU.
Give all the credit in the world. Ligon in the backcourt, just laying it out, sacrificing her body. Joy Dennis trying to go deep to the corner. It was the right idea, but it ends up about 4 feet long.
Oh, Ligon almost had another one, but Maya Kaiser will bring up set point for USC.
So surprised that Ligon didn't get that because that set was wide and it had to go angle.
USC looking to take the opening set at the 4s and 5s. Beyer sneaks it in. Still set point USC.
It's been a big question all year. Can Dennis and Kaiser, can they close in the crucial moments? They will be tested right here.
Free ball coming to LSU. Working in system. Was it touched? No. USC takes the opening set at the 4s, 21-19.
Oh, wow. What a way to finish the first set on the number 4 pairs. Look at this touch by Beyer. Then Ligon looks like it is a winner, but Kaiser continues to lay it out. Joy Dennis does the same. And then how about that? LSU find themselves down 2 sets to SC.
Coming up today at 2 Eastern, over on ESPN, we will crown a champion at the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship Duel from right here in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Of course, you can always stream it live on the ESPN app from anywhere. UCLA, the defending national champion, already in that national championship duel, but who will face them? USC has taken the first set on both courts. Let's going to look in at the fours. Joy Dennis's block was really working.
Yeah, she's been really awesome. She is disguising where she's going. Anything close to the net, she's being aggressive and getting her hands up and over. It's caused all sorts of problems so far for LSU. They need to set the ball about 3 feet off the net to take her out of play more.
The fives finished first. Picked up a 21-17 win in that first set. The fours then followed 21-19. We are playing in flights today, so that's why you see the 4 and 5s pairs for USC and LSU playing first. Once they conclude, the 1, 2, and 3 pairs will come on. Dual format a little bit different as we're playing in flights today, but each match is still best 2 out of 3, and each match still counts as 1 point in the duel. The first team to put 3 points on the board wins the duel and will move on to the championship duel against UCLA. That will be a winner-take-all duel. And it is an advantage for the team who can come out and get 1 or 2 wins in these first 2 pairs.
Yeah, this is the first time we're in a flight situation. Prior to this, all 5 matches were played at the same time, so strategy changes just a little bit. When you have the 4 and 5 pairs playing first, it is crucial to grab one of those, so to take some of the pressure off the 1, 2s, and 3s that will play afterward. You go down 0-2, I'll tell you, you're in a very rough position.
This is new to us this weekend, but it's not new to these teams. They're used to playing in flights. They do that some during the regular season.
Yeah, and you do that at a lot of venues that don't have 5 courts, because it takes a lot of real estate to have 5 courts. An example, USC has 3 courts there, so you have to play in flights to complete a duel.
Oh, Maddie Ligon with the ace. So she's got the defensive dives and she's got the service game. I love Maddie Ligon.
Yeah, Maddie Ligon constantly thinking out there, adjusting her shots, varied shots, and keeping the defense guessing. Oh, what an up by Ligon.
And then Beyer helps her out. Joy Dennis to some empty sand.
Yeah, Joy Dennis has been doing a good job trying to get involved with the offense. LSU has been targeting Maya Kaiser. Look at the layout by Beyer. Keeping it in play, giving yourself another opportunity is what it's all about. But right here, Dennis comes in, takes a look, sees the lines open, and executes.
Shot is wide from Maya Kaiser.
Maya Kaiser, you'll see a great hit, and then you'll see a ball like that go about 3 feet out. She has to rein that in. When you don't have the opportunity to get a winner, make sure you keep that ball in bounds.
Off of the fingertips of Beyer goes Kaiser.
Wow, I can't believe that one went down.
Let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, this pair at the fours for USC is one of the pairs that Coach Anna Collier has been saying all year, I just need more consistency from them. She's like, I call them my drama pair. We just need them to put it in, that they have too many unforced errors. And we've seen both the good and the bad so far today. Really good consistency in set 1, some fantastic plays, and then service errors or hitting errors. So just staying consistent for this group. They were the first ones to get a point on the board yesterday for USC. Can they find that consistency again?
It's also about both of them staying calm, too, because if one panics, that can rub off on your partner, no matter who it is, not just the fours.
Yeah, and what's happening, I mentioned it earlier, LSU's targeting Maya Kaiser. So sometimes if you're the other player, in this case Joy Dennis, you get a little frustrated. You want to get in the offense a little bit. Joy has to be careful not to steal a pass. and force anything.
Ligon a little further back off the net and finds some room on the back line.
I really love how Ligon prepares for every single play. This time she decides to go down the line. She got dug going cross court just before. So as soon as something happens, you can tell she's taking note of it and making the adjustment on the very next play.
She has experience playing in the NCAA championship. She played with Riley Young last year in Gulf Shores, but this is the third day that her and Olivia Beyer have played here in Gulf Shores together. Beyer coming from the indoor side. They've gone 8-1 overall this season together. Long shot from Kaiser.
Well, that's two back-to-back unforced errors just out of bounds, and I think LSU is starting to sense, let's keep hammering Maya Kaiser. And right now, Maya and Joy have just switched sides. Maya Kaiser was playing the left side, now she's on the right. Joy Dennis is going to try to relieve some pressure. And there is a lift, actually. That was an interesting call because she took it open hand. It came out nicely. What head referee Alan Siegel is saying is that this ball got stuck in her hands a little bit too long. And that was quick. I don't agree with that being called. Very interesting right there. He initially called a lift. He did not call a double contact, so I didn't see a lift.
Let's see it real time again. Back on that lift call.
There it is. And you know what? Maybe the correct call would have been a double contact, but a lift for sure was not the call because it came out quickly, but it did look like it caught the right hand, then the left hand, therefore not being simultaneous.
It can't come out of your hands with any spin on it on the beach. LSU is trying to take advantage of that. A little momentum here. A 5-1 run for LSU. There's the energy flag. Running back and forth between the 4s and 5s. It has certainly paid off for LSU in this tournament. Make it a 6-1 run.
Yeah, this is just incredible. You're seeing the game plan start to work for LSU. Their game plan is to go to Maya Kaiser. As you see the energy flag, firing the fans up and firing Beyer and Ligon up as well. But their game plan is to target Maya Kaiser every time. So she's going to have to settle down and figure out a way to put that ball away. Beyer's up at the net, blocking the line. Ligon is in the backcourt, taking the angle. That ball ends up hitting the antenna. So another unforced error by Kaiser. Right now, a bit of concern on the SC side, and Joy Dennis and Maya Kaiser have switched sides once again. So they're trying to figure this thing out, and Joy Dennis is trying to relieve some of this pressure because LSU is targeting Kaiser no matter where she is on the court.
That attack there from Dennis ended a 7-1 run for LSU. Now can they keep it going with Kaiser serving?
Too tight again on the set by LSU. You're getting a good look at why LSU is keeping the ball away from Joy Dennis. She's got really solid court vision. She's very physical, and when she's on her game, she's very difficult to stop.
Oh, great up by Ligon. Pokey. Joy Dennis has got USC rolling.
Yeah, Joy Dennis is trying to take over the match here as she's relieving pressure from Kaiser. There's Ligon with another spectacular dig. She keeps the ball in play, but here comes Joy Dennis. That's the pokey to the corner, closed knuckle pokey. Joy Dennis very good at executing that shot.
3 straight points for USC. Make it 4.
You know, when you're in a position and your partner's getting served a lot, you want to do anything you can to relieve that pressure. And I think Joy Dennis is doing a great job right now by taking any offensive hits that she can. And I think it's relaxing Maya Kaiser.
Maddie Ligon goes down the line. LSU up 11-10 in the second set. They have got to win this set to force a third. Going on, let's get you to the 5s.
Thanks, Courtney. As I mentioned earlier, these Tigers are tough to put away, and York and Domanski have responded after losing the first set. They've come out here, Holly, and lead 14-11 here in the second.
Well, early on it was back and forth, 7 ties. They were scored 9-9, and then LSU really made a run, making some defensive plays. York does a great job dropping off the net and facilitating the defense.
15-11 now. LSU, same situation as we have at the 5s. They must win this set to keep the match going. Nice bump set by York, and Domanski finishes it off. 16-11.
Well, I like what Molly Eberton did, using the wind, going back set, but Domanski makes a great dig, and now LSU on a 7-2 run.
Again, this is a new LSU team, as Allison Cohens, who had been playing with Hunter Domanski, still suffering from mono. They allowed her to play as long as she could, and last night knew that Kaylee York would get the call today. You have 2 alternates on your roster here at the championship. So if a player cannot play, you have a choice of 2 other players to put in their place. And Kaylee York, a sophomore from Bradenton, Florida, came in today to play with Domanski. And as you mentioned, they've won 7 of the last 9 points.
Katie Leak and Drew Hamilton in the box for this 5 pair. After the first set, they've really responded with some great defensive play. So maybe it just took that first set, getting that kind of getting used to each other period under their belt.
York trying to carry her team in this set. As she was the sub put in, the 4s are back underway, and it's a tight second set there as well.
Yeah, it's been back and forth. LSU has really found success when they go after Maya Kaiser, but Joy Dennis has stepped up her game.
Yeah, she really has, and it's all about the experience. You know, Coach Collier told us every time you get on the court in the national championship, even if you lose, it is a learning experience. And a couple years ago, Joy Dennis, playing with Abril Bustamante, did not play well. Were a bit shell-shocked when they got on the court. Now you're seeing Joy Dennis in more of a leadership situation, and that experience really starting to pay off.
Fire and Ligon with a 1-point advantage. It's long off of Kaiser. This could be big for LSU.
Yeah, so playing on the right side, playing on the left side, LSU continues to find where Kaiser is, and they are serving her every time. They're going to make her step up.
We'll watch the 4s. Let's go back to the 5s.
We have the possibility of a third set on the horizon if LSU can hang on. It was USC, though, that played the second half of that first set much better. Eberton can't save it.
Hunter Domanski digging some fantastic balls. Molly Eberton has got the majority of the serves for USC. She's talking to her partner, Cammie Dorn, saying she needs more lift on the set. Gustavo Hocha, the assistant for USC, talking to his pair, trying to right the ship for the Trojans.
It's called the walk and talk in beach volleyball. If you're new to the sport, the coaches can walk with their players as they change sides and give them a little extra coaching and motivation. It's the lefty Domanski with the serve. Was it touch? No. Point LSU.
Beautiful set by Eberton. Dorn had the right idea. Over the line poke block, just carried out of bounds. And LSU really in control of this second set because of their serve and D.
Tight to the net. And USC makes the most of it. Excellent play by Cammie Dorn.
That was the exact same play she was trying to do the play before. This time she goes up high, over the block, away from the defender.
Again, USC, the #1 seed. They lost their opening duel yesterday to on Thursday to Stetson. Actually, it was Friday. I'm getting my days confused. But anyway, they have battled through the elimination bracket. The loser of this match, the season is over. The winner plays in the national championship later this afternoon against UCLA. Point USC.
Again, there's that high point poke over the block. Again, if you're LSU, she's done it 3 times. Take it away the next play.
Look at Cammie Dorn from Laguna Beach, California. And tooling the block is York. It is set point LSU.
York has had to side out the majority of this second set for LSU and has really settled into a rhythm.
Reminder, a third set goes to 15, win by 2. With a point on the line for each team in this duel. Ace by Domanski. The lefty has been ripping aces all afternoon from that corner. And LSU has tied this match at a set apiece.
That's the 4th ace for Domanski. 12-4 run to end that second set for LSU.
So they will play to 15, win by 2 to determine who picks up an elusive point in this semifinal duel. Back to the 4s.
A timeout on 4s. It has been point LSU, point USC. It's been back and forth the whole time.
Yeah, Holly mentioned it on court number 5. The wind is different from the first 2 days, and Domanski on court 5 is the one player out here right now taking full advantage and lining up with the wind directly in her face. We haven't seen that a lot yet on this 4s court, but it is important. The good side of the court is where that wind is blowing in your face. The bad side is when the wind is at your back. And right now, LSU, you got to give them a lot of credit on this 4s pair. They have figured things out, and they have stayed consistent with their game plan of going to Maya Kaiser. This has been a pressure-filled match so far for Maya Kaiser, who has been targeted. But that's what the name of the game of beach volleyball is. There's only 2 players on that other side of the net, and you want to strategize on who to go to.
We want to check in with Holly because there's a very special guest cheering on LSU right now on the sand.
Well, LSU Gymnastics is having their staff retreat in Perdido Key. You find out about this event, and what happens? You get your whole staff down here, huh?
Well, we're on the 4th floor with Russ, and we knew that this was happening. And fortunately, our time is flexible, so we were able to come out today and support this Tiger team.
It's so cool that your whole staff is here cheering on this team as they get to the national semifinals. You were just in the national championship yourself. What is it like in these moments that you can pass on to Russ?
Well, you know, it's intensity and motivation, but you also got to get momentum. And this is like a ebbing and flowing. You know, we had momentum, and then it kind of drops down, and we pick it up again. But both of these games are really, really close. So, you know, we're pulling for the Tigers.
All right, can we get the energy flag for gymnastics? Because we think it's a hit here. Can we talk about that?
The energy flag for gymnastics?
Yeah, you see the gal running back and forth with the energy flag? Let's work on that.
Well, you know what? We can do that in gymnastics. We're just kind of limited to the space we have to run.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to work that out. We'll figure it out.
But go Tigers!
Holly, we've got the stick crown for LSU. That's a big deal. Dee Bro, legendary head coach of the LSU gymnastics program. They just graduated an outstanding senior class, finished 2nd in the national championship. Maddie Ligon just continues to go after the 4s of Joy Dennis and Maya Kaiser.
Check out Maddie Ligon's defense. There's a pokey dig. You don't see that very often. A lot of time it's just offense when you get that pokey, but Ligon implementing it on the defensive end, just showing what a creative player she is.
USC responds again, a 1-point second set. I think Maddie Ligon's got a little sand all over her. That's the sign of a hard-working defender.
And it's smart. See all that sand? What she should do is go and adjust the line, maybe slow things down. You'll see veteran players pull some cagey moves to kind of recoup and get ready for that next play. And maybe that stall right there actually worked as USC serves the ball into the net.
Free point for LSU. We've mentioned this USC pair has struggled with the unforced errors.
So they're not serving Maya Kaiser relatively tough. It's just they're locating her, giving her the ball. It's not a very tough serve, but Maya Kaiser will continue to get served. She's going to have to continue offense like this. This is a great wrist away shot cross court.
Dennis goes at Ligon. Into the stands. Man, Ligon's got some power.
So impressed by Beyer and Ligon right now, playing together so well, but Ligon in the backcourt is everywhere. You'd be hard-pressed to get that ball to fall to the sand without her getting at least a finger on it. I like that play, a little drop block from Beyer. She made the right move. She just could not get the ball in a playable position. When you're up at the net as a blocker and the set comes from the other side, if it's not close and you don't think that offensive player has a good hit on the ball, that's when you drop off the net and it puts you in a much better situation defensively.
Winner of this duel will move on to face UCLA in a winner-take-all championship duel at 2 Eastern on ESPN. Pokey for Ligon.
Another beautiful shot by Ligon. She comes in, Beyer tells her go to the line, and she listens and executes that shot to perfection.
Joy Dennis's block really bothered Maddie Ligon at the beginning of this match, but she's starting to figure it out.
And she's starting to figure Maya Kaiser's cross court out, and then the drop shot for the winner. And right now, LSU on a roll.
Set point for LSU. Looking to force a third set. Drops it in! You bet we're playing 3.
Again, it's Ligon in the backcourt. She gets it up, and then the short roll shot. The retreating Kaiser cannot make the move to get shallow in the court and make the dig.
So they'll do the coin toss here as we'll play a third set at the 4s. They're already in action in a third set at the 5s.
Back over here at the 4s, at the 5s, we've got a 6-2 score for York and Demansky. A 4-0 run being enjoyed right now by LSU.
Well, right now, USC is not in a good side-out rhythm. I don't know if the set's not working, but Eberton making some unforced errors. Cami Dorn, if you watch her set, she's not making a long contact on the ball, and that affects the way the ball hangs for her hitter. So let's watch that and see if they can find the rhythm. Right now they're on the bench talking to assistant coach Gustavo Rocha from Brazil, and I'm sure he's going to give them that type of feedback. So a good first contact, maybe a second over on 2 transition option from Cami Dorn, but take some pressure off Molly Eberton right now for USC.
Well, coming up, Sports Center will be after Sunday Night Baseball with Steve Levy and John Anderson. They'll go all access with Cubs superstar Javi Baez, and then Stephen A. breaks down the Raptors-Sixers Game 4, and with the Blues on the brink, Barry Melrose talks pucks. Sports Center after Cardinals Cubs on ESPN and the ESPN app. By the way, have we mentioned, today is sold out. Not a single ticket available to attend the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championships, and I think all the extra tickets were snapped up by LSU fans because they are out in full force today.
They are loud. The energy from the LSU fans has been unbelievable all morning long.
LSU enjoying the support of this crowd as the energy flag makes its way from court to court right now at the fives. LSU trying to pick up a point here against the #1 ranked team and #1 seed USC. This third set is to 15, win by 2. The 1s, 2s, and 3s will come out after the 4s and 5s finish. And that was a much needed side out for USC.
Better set by Cammie Dorn. She looked very focused on it. I still don't think she's finishing her contact. She jabs at it right at the last second, but that one in a good location for Molly Eberton.
Eberton, a freshman from Saratoga, California. Her father was a very good football player at USC. Chuck, and another point for LSU.
York is getting more confident as this match goes on, and LSU has really turned the momentum to their side.
They're such an emotional pair, even though these two have not played together. They are bringing out the best in each other. Celebrate after every point. Point USC.
Yeah, and that ends a 6-1 run for LSU.
Again, this is the first time these two have played together. Allison Cohens was diagnosed with mono 3 weeks ago. They put her back in the lineup after she missed the conference tournament, and Coach Brock told us that he was amazed she could go as long as she did. So they put York in her place. So with the season on the line, making a substitution like that, that is a gamble, and it seems like it's paying off right now.
Well, Russell Brock was confident. He said Kaylee York has transformed her game. She's worked so hard. Her focus, her decision-making as a blocker and a dropper is really good. So he had confidence in her game at this point in the season.
Let's go over to Holly Rowe now with more on LSU.
Well, guys, you talk about that change at the fives for LSU, and it was really a quick turn of events for USC. Just moments before the event, when they were in warm-ups, there are assistants and managers with laptops running out to talk to Anna Collier about a scouting report. You know, this was late, about 30 minutes or so before this duel started, that they found out that there would be a change. So they're quickly trying to learn her and scout her on the fly, on the sand in warm-ups. Kind of a challenge for USC.
As were we, Holly, and we want to thank Russell Brock and his staff for giving us a debriefing on Kaylee York just before the match started. He came in and talked to us about her. She was a highly sought-after recruit that blew out her knee coming into LSU and has had to rehab that and now has worked her way back into the lineup. But they have high expectations for York, who is just a sophomore.
Well, you can't always have a scouting report for every team, and I get that USC was scrambling to give their pair some information, but you have to take care of your side of the net. You don't care who's on the other side. If you are siding out and making plays on your side of the net, you can beat anybody.
Service error, and LSU is getting closer and closer. It is 10-6. Remember, this third set goes to 15, win by 2. If LSU wins this match, they pick up a point. You have to win 3 courts to win the duel. 11-6.
Unbelievable, the momentum all for LSU. And you see the energy flag in the background. Could that be why?
That flag has been a presence here ever since they lost that first set. And a hammer delivered by Eberton.
Molly Eberton can crush the ball for USC, and she shows you she can. She's got to be frustrated right now, but they have time to get back in this match.
And LSU scores again. And now Holly Rowe has more on that energy flag, Holly.
I'm not sure who's expending more energy, the pair on the court or the energy flag young lady. Caitlin Broadwell is a graduate for LSU. She's from Lawrence, Kansas, played at CSU Pueblo and is now here. She is saying that this is her role. She's like, I'm the one that they knew would have the most energy. I'm the one that's dancing, that's lifting my team. She knows that critical role that she's playing for her team, and I love it. She has not missed a beat out here. She is expending so much energy in this hot day, and that energy flag is doing its job.
Certainly is. And the other unusual thing about the LSU program, they have 23 players on the roster, so they have a lot of support just here among the team.
And head coach Russell Brock calls it a family. He's like, hey, if you want to be part of our family, we will welcome you with open arms. And you see the support system behind this amazing LSU beach volleyball program.
LSU is 3 points away from stealing the point. There's Russell Brock, who has transformed LSU into a beach volleyball power. They have a brand new state-of-the-art facility. Ace by Dorn.
And if SC wants to get back in this third set, some tough serving is crucial.
Point LSU. They are 2 points away from winning at the fives.
Long rally back and forth. Kaylee York, number 5, down the line with confidence.
They do not look like a pair that is making their debut today.
They look very smooth, and look at that aggressive serve from the back line. Kaylee York, flat laser beam serve for the ace.
And for match point as well. This would secure a point for LSU if the fives can win this. The fives come from behind and take the point.
What a turnaround. The momentum shift after the first set was amazing in favor of LSU.
So LSU has the early momentum and will swing it back over to the fours, where they're also in a third set.
Sam, LSU is up in this third set at the fours. We're in a timeout right now. The Tigers on top 7-3. Playing to 15, but Maddie Ligon, the junior out of Texas, has been so big in this match for LSU.
Yeah, she has been a steady force, not only on the defensive end, but offensive as well. Look at that serve right down the middle, confusing the Trojans. Here's a little pokey dig, and she's able to convert her defense to offense so quickly. Look at her in the backcourt here. Left-handed stab, and then she gets up quickly and is able to come into an attack. There's another dig down the line, and she tools the block. Maddie Ligon has been all over the court, and she has been instrumental in the momentum swing on the fours pair.
She started this third set with an ace for LSU, and here are the Tigers up 7-3, looking to win at the fours and fives against USC, the #1 seed.
Well, this is best case scenario right now for LSU, and this is a complete disaster for the USC Trojans, who had all the momentum in the world, and then things changed in the second set. Give LSU a lot of credit. They wanted to pull at least one of these 4-5 pairs, but they may pull both of them.
They keep going after Kaiser, but she tacks on a point.
It's tough, you know, we're in this third set, and it's a quick set. I always call this a sprint. It's only to 15 points, you switch on increments of 5, and so you cannot get yourself in a deep hole like you're playing to 21 and have time to come back. You gotta get out of the gate early, and that's exactly what LSU has done.
Fire out.
We haven't seen many of those unforced errors for LSU. they have been really consistent on keeping the ball in when they don't have a winner. So USC definitely has to take advantage of that ball hit out of bounds.
Free ball coming to the Trojans.
You got to score here, and that sets way off the net for SC, a missed opportunity. And Joy Dennis makes up for it. She's been doing that the entire match, really trying to get as involved as possible because LSU is not serving her the ball. Here's another look at it. Joy Dennis waits and puts it away. So USC dodging a little bit of a bullet there.
LSU kind of figured out in the second set that going after Maya Kaiser was going to be key, and that's how they took that second set, but it put a lot of pressure on Joy Dennis to help out her partner.
You're seeing all hands on deck for USC. Assistant coach Gustavo Hocha and volunteer assistant Eric Fanoy Moana, my former partner in the 2000 Olympics. He is there supporting, of course, head coach Anna Collier. And that's the great thing about flights. You can get all the coaches on one court. You don't get that when you're playing 5 at a time.
Nobody on for Kaiser. Beyer. Ending a 4-0 run.
How about Beyer? She looks comfortable out there. Remember, this is her first year on the beach. A nice drop. She gets it with a left-handed stab, and then she's able to convert to offense right down the middle, just inside the back line.
Going to 15. Oh, smart shot from Joy Dennis.
Yeah, if you're LSU, you're like, how do we keep the ball away from Joy Dennis right now? Because she has really tried to insert herself into this game, and she has, while LSU has tried to take her out. Little indecision on going to the net.
You can't stop Joy Dennis right now.
Joy Dennis is on absolute fire right now. I told you of her physical skills. It was just a matter of extracting them and playing at the right time. And the fact that LSU's trying to avoid her, she has taken her game to another level, and there's a stuff block to the deep corner. Joy Dennis waiting, jumping, and sealing up her area, pressing over the net, and she is pumped up.
LSU was up 8-3, and since USC has gone on a 7-1 run.
Great dig by Kaiser.
Ligon gets it through. You have to win by 2.
Love how scrappy Ligon is, and she's starting to bring out some fire of her own. Fire up Beyer, who's used to playing indoor with 5 other teammates on the beach, just one, but one's all you need when you have Maddie Ligon, who's really stepping up.
She has been everywhere today, all over the sand. It's 1-5.
Oh, that's a huge shot. What LSU is doing, they're serving Maya Kaiser, they're blocking her line, and Ligon is hanging out in the angle, waiting for the hit maybe directly at her, or the poke shot, which Ligon is waiting to run down. Top spin jump serve for Joy Dennis.
Beyer hits the line.
Solid hit by Beyer. Up and over Maya Kaiser, who's at the net blocking that time. it gets down to pressure time. And right now, Bayer really stepping up.
First to 15, you have to win by 2.
Oh, so close. Bayer had the reach. He was in the right position as a blocker, but it goes off her right hand and ends up a kill for Maya Kaiser. This is what it's all about. This is what you train all season for, to be playing on the final day, tied up in the 3rd set.
She likes that spot.
And why not, you know? If it's open and available, you see the defender in the cross court, you go opposite to the line, and that's what Bayer's been doing, listening to the call of Ligon. And here's where the pressure really starts to mount. Coaches can only speak with their players on the walk and talk, and you're seeing Gustavo Hocha, the assistant coach, and Eric Fenoy-Moana, the volunteer assistant, maybe taking a little extra time when they need to take a seat on the bench.
Oh, it was tight. A little help from Bayer. Matched point for LSU. They can go up 2-0 in this duel.
This serve will go to Maya Kaiser on the left.
Still match point.
Yeah, she gets the side out now, but the damage has been done. Now if you're LSU, you just settled in, receive serve, and put that ball in the sand just one more time.
LSU leads the duel 2-0 here in the semifinals.
Really loved what I saw out of LSU right there. They came out, took the L in the first set, and then held their composure, continued on their game plan, worked hard, and it turned in their favor. They earned so many tough points by scrappy defense and hanging in there. And so surprising to me that Bayer, this is her first year of beach volleyball, a convert from the indoor game. And wow, what a match she just had. But right now, I'll tell you what, USC up against the wall. Tons of pressure on the 1, 2, and 3 pairs. The 4 and 5s for LSU. They got it done.
Let's go down to Holly with the 4s for LSU.
Maddie Ligon, play after play, you're diving, you're trying. What is going through your mind as you're trying to get to those balls and make all those plays?
Honestly, I was just trying to play my game, and Joy and Maya are both really amazing players, so I know that to even compete with them, I had to give it my all, regardless of like the likelihood of a win or loss. Like, it could have gone either way. I love playing against such good competition. Like, SC is amazing, and it just feels so good to give it your all and like leave it all out there on the sand. So.
Yeah. Olivia, I could feel her fire. She's firing you up. What is it like out there? And she's like in your face, holding your hand.
Well, we work so well together. I think we're kind of opposites, and it just works perfectly. So she gets me fired up, and I like internally am going, and she's like externally and internally. So it's really cool, and it fires me up just that she touches every single ball, whether we get the point or not. So like that just like that really gets me fired up. So
you guys had a definite strategy to go after Kaiser. How did that play off and pay off for you?
Honestly, both Maya and Joy are so good. We knew that if we could get a couple points off of Maya, we had more of a shot. Joy is so fantastic, so is Maya. Like, it literally just boils down to the fact of like, what strategy can we use best to take advantage of the team that we played against, and like, they're so good anyways. Like,
yeah, we want it all. I mean, putting all the pressure on one person can sometimes just be a good tactic, no matter who it is.
Right.
Okay.
I agree.
And I love this chemistry. Like, we're doing an interview, they're conducting it with me. They're only talking to each other. I love that chemistry, guys. Way to get your team off to a good start. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Go Tigers!
Olivia Bayer and Maddie Ligon are now 3-0 in the NCAA tournament here this weekend. 2 points on the board for LSU. The energy flag was working hard. Will it work hard in the next flight? The 1s, 2s, and 3s coming up. LSU just has to win one court. Coming up today at 2 Eastern over on ESPN, we will crown a champion in the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship Duel from right here in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Of course, you can always stream it live on the ESPN app. UCLA already in that championship duel. Will it be LSU or USC facing them right now? LSU has come out and stunned USC. They take the first 2 matches of this semifinal duel. The countdown is on for our second flight in this duel. The 1s, 2s, and 3s will take the sand all at the same time. LSU just has to win on one court to move on to that championship duel. Courtney Lyle, Dane Blanton with you. And watching those first 2 courts, the 4s and 5s, what did you think from LSU?
Well, I was so impressed because at the beginning you thought USC was just going to take care of business, maybe win in straight sets. Both on the 4s and the 5, they won that first set, looked very relaxed, but give so much credit to LSU. They were tenacious, they continued to fight, they turned the momentum, and that's what this sport's about. It's about momentum swings, and USC did not close the door on LSU. That was a big mistake. You know, USC could not have anticipated going into the second flight down 0-2.
Just incredible what we saw from LSU. The energy is definitely with the Tigers. Let's start with the 4s for LSU. It was Olivia Beyer and Maddie Ligon figuring out a way to take down Joy Dennis and Maya Kaiser.
And I still can't believe Beyer's only been playing beach volleyball for a year, but Maddie Ligon, you know what? She's a leader. She brought her partner up to another level, and they put the pressure on the USC Trojans. They did not know what hit them in set 2 and 3.
And how about over at the 5s? They were also able to take down USC.
Same situation, right? But Domansky and York, they stepped up their game in that second set. That's when Domansky started serving the ball tough. She figured out the win, and it was just too much. You have a freshman in Eberton, and sometimes the moment gets a little bit too big.
Wow, what an exciting duel in the semifinals. LSU just needs to win on one more court, and they are moving on to their first appearance in the championship duel. We have seen chaos on the beach all week, and especially for the coaching staffs, they're running from court to court to make sure that each pair has what they need to be successful.
Coaching is like playing cards. You have a deck of cards. The magic of coaching is what cards you use in the right time.
We have 5 courts to play at once. 1s versus 1s, our best team versus their best team, and so on down to the 5s.
Imagine that is like 5 national championships going at the same time.
Every match counts the same amount. Whoever wins 3 out of those 5 would win the duel.
Each court has their own little world, and our job is trying to find the best management of those 5 courts. This is the summit of college, and then you guys made it. You made it.
Hey, take time to breathe.
Yeah.
Recover, like you gotta focus on that right now.
Yeah.
Okay, first time here, it's understandable.
Trust yourself, trust in the game, trust in your training, and let's get out of here. Here we go, let's go Waves.
Get you some, come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second duel of the day between the LSU Tigers and Pepperdine Waves starts right now.
Hey, you got everything you need. You got everything you need, come on.
Okay, you gotta fire up the grill.
Okay, you gotta push the ball up to the net, Beyer. Push it up there for her.
Our serve wasn't existing. Where's the jump serve?
Yes!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a final. LSU wins the duel over Pepperdine.
Gotta get ready to do it again, and that gets us to tomorrow where we wanna be. 1, 2, 3, Tigers!
Well, the first 2 days of this tournament, all 5 courts were going on at once. And Dane, you've coached here at the NCAAs. What's it like? You have 3 coaches and 5 courts going on.
Yeah, it's just crazy. You have a head coach, an assistant coach, and a volunteer assist. So like you said, only 3, and there's 5 courts. So you kind of got to leave maybe your mature athletes that can handle their business maybe alone and deal with maybe the underclassmen that are out there for the first time. But every single coaching staff has a different strategy, but they love flights where there's only a maximum of 3 matches going on. Therefore, you can have a coach on every court, but it can get a little bit hectic.
We do have 3 more matches left in this semifinal duel. The 1s, 2s, and 3s will take the sand next. Almost 3 minutes to first serve of this second flight. LSU just needs to win on 1 court. Semifinal duel between LSU and USC. Winner of this duel is moving on to the championship duel later today at 2 to face UCLA. Look at the LSU Tigers go. They have already taken 2 courts from USC. Different format today. We are playing in flights. We just saw the 4 and 5s play. LSU took both of those matches. Now the 1, 2, and 3 pairs will all play at the same time. Match format still stays the same, best 2 out of 3. USC has the pressure on them right now. They have got to win on all 3 of these courts, and they did it at the Pac-12 tournament. They lost 4 and 5 in the championship to UCLA and won on courts 1, 2, and 3. This is the Trojans' strength.
Yeah, this is something that they have faced before where they are in a must-win situation on court 1, 2, and 3, but this #1 team for LSU is something special. They won the USAV Beach Pairs Championship last year, so they are a force to be reckoned with, even though they haven't ever taken down Tina Gradina and Abril Bustamante of USC.
Holly, there's a lot of pressure on USC right now.
That's right. They've got to win on all 3 of these courts to advance to that championship. And I was really observing in between duels here the different takes on both teams. For the Tigers, it's all about energy. Their players are dancing, yelling, using that energy and momentum of those first 2 duels. But for USC, it was more of a quiet focus. Players with their heads down, really locking in, visualizing. And right before they took the court on the 3s, Anna Collier, the head coach, telling her team simply, attack.
Yeah, I really like that report right there from Holly. It's exactly right. LSU is in uncharted waters. They haven't been here, so you're doing the jumping around, you're doing the excitement, whereas SC has been here multiple times in this situation and won national championships, so maybe a little more pressure in terms of expectation, and LSU playing a little looser.
These are the ones, Abril Bustamante, Tina Gradina for USC, facing Claire Coppola and Kristen Nuss.
Oh, wow. That's a good look right there at Tina Gradina. Some regard her as the best blocker in the nation. You see the last second she jumps into the angle there. She's giving her partner, Abril Bustamante, hand signals behind to take the specific part of the court. Oh, wow. A drop shot. So Tina Gradina off to a very fast start, not only blocking, but her offensive attacking as well.
4th best pair in school history when it comes to record. They're 63 and 4 all time. Abril Bustamante, the senior, and Tina Gradina, the sophomore. They are the Pac-12 pair of the year. And last season, when Tina Gradina came in as a freshman, Abril Bustamante went to Anna Collier and said, I want to play with her. She is so good. And Anna said, you got to earn that. So it really lit a fire in Bustamante, and they have had a lot of success after she earned the privilege of playing with Tina Gradina.
Oh, what a save right there. Bustamante at the net, uncharacteristically, keeps the ball alive, but it's LSU who ends up putting the ball to the sand. Let's take a look at it again. Bustamante gets a touch, she grovels, keeps it up in the air. Look at Gradina laying it out. But then on the second opportunity, Nuss comes in and puts it ball away, point LSU.
When LSU and USC met during the regular season, it was USC coming out on top in this on-court 1. Claire Coppola and Kristen Nuss not able to take down Bustamante and Gradina.
Yeah, Bustamante and Gradina have only lost 2 matches all year, one to the McNamara's from UCLA and another to South Carolina. And so getting in their way is difficult because they're like a freight train. They have all the skills, blocking, defense, conversion, and right there, that ball hit out of bounds is a result of Tina Gradina's block. It's intimidating. If you try to go around it, sometimes you're going to err on your shots.
Even if she doesn't get a piece of the ball, she is affecting your swing and your decision making, just being at the net.
Exactly.
This is a really good Coppola and Nuss duo. They have played every collegiate match together over their careers. They've come in hot to this match right here. They've won their last 18, just 3 losses this season, a couple to UCLA, and then 1 to this USC ones pair. Bustamante.
It's a high snap to the corner by Bustamante. Last year played with a broken wrist the majority of the season, and a very tough player, and her game has been really elevated. You mentioned her desire to play with Tina, and now that she has played with her for some time, her game has been really elevated. She's playing at a much higher level than before.
I love talking to Tina Gradina about Abril because you could see her face light up when she talked about her partner. She says it's unlike any chemistry she's ever had. They just look at each other and know what the other is thinking. Not many words are needed.
That ball's a little tight. Nuss everywhere on the court, and then the drop shot for the winner. Wow, how about the defense of Nuss?
Let's check in with Holly.
Well, Tina Gradina of USC, one of the best players in the country already as a sophomore. Her coach, USC's Anna Collier, was was actually the junior national coach in Acapulco at a tournament. She saw her as a very young player, and she said, I went straight to compliance and counted down the days until I could contact her. At that time, which is 10 hours ahead in Latvia, she was at her computer Skyping with Tina's dad, Maris. She's like, I wanted to make sure that everything we could do to get this young lady, we did. They put a whole recruiting weekend together about her, took all of the different recruits in at the same time and took them to a football game. She said she was our priority, and they are thrilled that they got Tina Gradina, one of the best in the country.
She's a player that's going to impact your program immediately.
Yeah, it's just amazing that she's only a sophomore. Remember, she also has aspirations to play in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics and competes at a very high level internationally. There's no question in my mind that she should make that team and be representing Latvia in 2020.
Nice spot on the line from Bustamante.
Yeah, how good was this pair? Bustamante and Gradina were the 2018 National Pair of the Year, and just won Pac-12 Pair of the Year this year. I would imagine they will probably win National Pair of the Year again this year. They are just so solid from top to bottom and so consistent. But every time you get out there, you got a target on your back when you're that good, and everyone wants to beat you. And so you got to bring your best. No time to take any focus off.
How much does their size factor into their success? They both are listed at 6 feet tall, and we've seen some undersized ones pairs in this tournament.
Well, it helps them tremendously. They're a physical team. They're less finesse, more physical, but they have the finesse. They have that creativity, but they can shock you from the back line serving as well as up at the net as blockers and attackers.
Nuss just past Bustamante.
It's fun watching Coppola and Nuss. Their chemistry together, similar to Gradina and Bustamante. They don't have to say much. They know where one another's going at all times, it seems.
Claire Coppola got a hand on it, but it goes out. Point for USC, a tight one at the ones here in this first set. Let's send you to the threes with Sam and Holly.
Thank you, Courtney. LSU have the early advantage here, leading 6-2, but USC has fought back. We're tied at 8 here in the opening set. A big USC team here in terms of height and power. Hallgren is 6'1", Paletto 6'2".
Tony Rodriguez missing that just wide, but I'll tell you, Alexander Paletto, the blocker for USC, has blocked 2 balls that LSU has covered and attacked back. Ashlyn Rasnick-Pope playing some amazing defense for LSU, so this has been a back and forth battle.
Hallgren back to serve for USC, missed it long. So 9-9 here in the opening set. Rodriguez, number 42 in yellow, about to serve. She is a senior, but was a 4-year indoor player and has had a lot of issues with injuries, has had a couple of ACL repairs done, and now finally in beach condition and making an impact this year. She's playing with a freshman who probably has more beach experience than she does in Rasnick-Pope. Good save, what an up. And there's the power of USC.
USC terminates with power, but you see the scrambling and the athleticism of that both LSU players touching balls defensively, making it hard for USC. This is one of the best pairs in the country at the 3 spot for USC.
There is one service that ranks the pairs by position. Paletto and Hallgren rank number 3 in the nation at the 3s, according to that website. And finally, USC outlasting LSU in that rally. That camera angle really gives you an idea as to how scrappy LSU is.
9-3 run after LSU led 6-2, but every ball is being touched by LSU. If you're USC, you need to go up aggressive in transition and make sure you terminate that point because LSU is not giving up.
We go to 21, win by 2. LSU is leading the overall duel 2-0. They need to win only one more court to meet UCLA in the national championship this afternoon. Good block by USC, so the technical timeout. And USC leading 12-9 at the 3s. We'll continue our coverage here in beautiful Gulf Shores in a moment. We're on the Gulf of Mexico right here in Gulf Shores. 3 courts in action. LSU needs to win just one of them, and they will win this duel and meet UCLA this afternoon. Let's go back to Courtney and Dane at the ones.
Very tight first set at the ones between Bustamante and Gradina and Coppola and Nuss.
Coppola just with a very rare unforced error as the ball goes out. What makes this team of Coppola and Nuss so strong is not only their chemistry between one another, they don't try to make the big play. They usually don't do many unforced errors, but to see her do back-to-back, Coppola has to be thinking, I wish I had those couple of plays back because they're not going to give you a lot of free points. That's what's made them effective this entire season.
And now USC is on a 5-0 run thanks to that attacking error from LSU. Even in that upset against Stetson, where the Hatters sent the #1 seed to the elimination portion of the bracket, Bustamante and Gradina won on their court.
Yeah, I believe Tina Gradina, her record in the national championship is 5-0. She is the most effective player here in terms of her record. And she's a force to be reckoned with. Tina Gradina, just a sophomore. And I don't think anyone could have seen how much of an impact she would make immediately on the collegiate volleyball scene.
What do you like most about her game? Because I personally love to watch her block at the net.
Yeah, her block is probably her best attribute. You see her drop off the block, off the net there. and then set her partner. She can do it all and very versatile.
Great up from Bustamante. Coppola.
Solid rally right there, back and forth. You see Tina Gradina dropping off the net and then Bustamante laying it out to get that ball up, but Gradina puts the set a little bit too tight and Coppola just eating it up as a blocker.
LSU has put up 15 points on Bustamante and Gradina. That's the most they have against this pair this season. The previous was 14.
Oh, that ball was up in the back court and a lot of fuel out of the tank for Coppola. She had to turn off the net, tried to sprint all the way to the back, and it'll be interesting here. Bustamante, a very crafty player. She knows that Coppola had a nice little energy exertion right there. Will she go right back to her? She does.
Kristen Nuss has to help her out, but it is a point for LSU. Down by just one. Looking in at the twos on the right side of your screen, Therese Cannon and Sammy Slater for USC taking on Olivia Powers and Kelly Agnew. Agnew, a freshman from Arizona. Slater and Cannon a couple of points away from taking the opening set.
Smart play by Slater going down the line there. Remember, USC relies heavily on their 1, 2, and 3. That's the positions that are must-wins for them today and most days. But today they have all sorts of extra pressure with the 4s and 5s already taking losses for the Trojans.
It is set point on the right side. Still set point at the twos. USC was in this situation in the Pac-12 championship against UCLA. They dropped at the 4 and 5s and then won it all.
What a great dig in the backcourt by Kelly Agnew, and then the put away in the twos pair. So it's going to be a long road back, being down 20-13, but you almost don't want to look at the score for your LSU. You just want to start playing better so you roll that momentum into the second set, and there it is.
USC takes the first set at the twos, 21-13. USC a couple of points away from the first set at the ones. Bustamante on the serve.
A little poke defense by Bustamante. Oh, that's too easy. Coppola gives it right to Gradina.
Gradina goes back at Nuss, and it's poked too far by Claire Coppola. You can see the frustration as set point comes up for USC.
Coppola not happy with herself, banging down on the sand twice in frustration. She wants to keep that ball in play.
Timeout at the ones. Let's go to the threes.
Now this has been an exhausting physical opening set here. At the moment, USC has the lead, but LSU siding out here 18-13 now. I'm Sam Gorlong with Holly McPeak, a three-time Olympian. And Holly, I've been impressed with just the passion these two teams are playing with.
LSU is pushing to extend every rally, putting all sorts of pressure on this USC pair, touching every ball. Ashlyn Rasnick-Pope, can't believe she's just a freshman. I love the way she gets around the court, and she's explosive offensively. But Haley Hallgren right there, too much heat on that ball.
This is one of the best threes in the country for USC. They are 2 points away from picking up the opening set. Again, the strength of the USC lineup are the 1s, 2s, and 3s, and they have no room for error in this duel.
Ace. Yeah, the tough serve catches Tony Rodriguez high. Good aggressive serve by USC. It's so important to keep that serve aggressive the entire match.
And Hallgren's serve gives USC set point. And again, another big serve by Hallgren secures the set for the Trojans. So USC up a set now at the threes.
Tough serving sets up easy points, and they finish strong for USC.
Anna Collier coming in and talking to her team, and we go back to the ones.
Set point at the ones. Bustamante and Gradina still in that timeout, about to step out back onto the sand at any moment. But Bustamante and Gradina have done a nice job of taking advantage of some mistakes by LSU.
Yeah, Coppola has had quite a few unforced errors. That's uncharacteristic of her, and we saw the frustration at the end of the last play. She's going to have to take a deep breath, kind of reel it in, and get back to playing the volleyball that she knows that she's capable of playing.
Set point Trojans.
Oh, quick reaction. Coppola up at the net. Didn't think she was going to get that pokey action in time, but she does to keep this first set alive.
Still set point for USC. Claire Coppola serving for LSU. USC looking to take the first set at 1, 2, and 3. Bustamante. The first set at the ones is going to USC. Bustamante and Gradina have not dropped a set this weekend. They are 7-0. Still work to do for USC. Coverage from the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship. Make sure to search Beach on the ESPN app. You can watch every point from every court throughout the entire championship. And man, this has been a fun semifinal duel between LSU and USC. We saw LSU put the first points on the board at the 4 and 5 positions, and now if you're USC, it's up to the 1, 2, and 3, and they have taken the first set on all courts.
Yeah, but remember, they took the first set on the 4s and 5s as well, right? And then everything turned around. So don't get too comfortable if you're the Trojans being up a set, because this LSU team has proven that they'll stay consistent and they continue to have serious fight in them despite being down a set.
LSU just has to win 2 sets to win this duel. For USC, they've got to win 3 across 3 courts, because they took the first set at 1, 2, and 3. Therese Cannon, Sammy Slater against Olivia Powers and Kelly Agnew at the 2s. And Slater and Cannon, a pretty sizable win in that first set, 21-13.
Yeah, it's crucial that they play well. And you also start to think, if USC gets leads here in the second set of this flight number 2, you start thinking, like, we got to win this quick and get off the sand, because 2 hours later they'll be playing in a final. So if you're UCLA on the sideline watching these 2 teams, you're hoping that play gets extended as far as possible. You want these to go 3 sets, but if you're the winner of these 2, you want it to go as quick as possible. Starts to play a big factor, fatigue.
Yeah, the championship duel will be at 2 Eastern on ESPN. It's winner take all between the winner of this duel and UCLA. Let's check in with Holly.
I just have started to notice some fatigue creeping up on all 3 courts. Players, when they dive into the sand, just a little bit slower to get up for both teams. So you think about that, the elimination bracket, having to play those 2 extra duels. UCLA did it last year. They came through that losers bracket to win the national championship. So sometimes being ready and firing on all cylinders early in the day has paid off. But boy, it is hot out here today. Not a heavy breeze, and I'm starting to see those legs and a little bit slower getting up and out of that sand.
Yeah, the weather's a little bit different than we saw yesterday, because we started around 9 a.m. local time yesterday due to the threat of storms in the area, and it was very overcast, no sun. We've got the sun today.
Yeah, that sun is beating down on you. It's crucial that you are hydrating and you're ready to go, because if you start cramping, it's too late. And that will be a factor, no question about it, when the final comes, because these two teams had to play in the morning, where UCLA had the luxury staying in that winner's bracket of playing 2 less matches and resting their legs.
Therese Cannon into the net.
This is where you got to be really careful, right? You're in the second set. Yeah, you have that cushion of the first set, but we saw it in the first flight. You cannot flinch for even a second or the momentum will swing. And sometimes it's very difficult to get the momentum back. So no slacking out there. You got to finish the job.
Here goes Olivia Powers. Too far on the serve.
There is Therese Cannon up at the net. Therese Cannon, senior, and you know, she played indoor at Georgetown before coming to USC. She's gotten so much better. Back in 2017, she had the final winning hit to win the national championship, and now she's more in a leadership position, playing with Sammy Slater, who gets a float serve ace right there. But it's so interesting to watch these players come in as freshmen, really inexperienced, really wide-eyed, and then as the years progress, they become the leaders, and they are helping along the next generation.
Yeah, and talking to Anna Collier about this duo, she said, you know, Sammy Slater, the sophomore, really feeds off of Therese Cannon's focus, and that focus comes from experience. Slater and Cannon up 11-7. Looking at the ones here, Bustamante Gradina won the first set 21-18. Here they are up 2 in the second set. USC has to win on every court to move on.
That ball's a little too tight, and Tina Gradina actually into the net. You don't see that often, maybe a little too aggressive. Whenever your opposition sets that ball tight to the net, the blocker comes into play. And this time, Tina just a little too aggressive, maybe jumped with forward momentum, but a net violation, point for LSU.
That was a nice break for LSU. We saw Kristen Nuss set that ball with her hands, and that's something she worked on this summer. She went home and decided, I'm going to hand set this next season, and they say it's really helped this pair.
Yeah, head coach Russell Brock said that he wasn't even really going to tackle that task of getting her to be a hand setter. And look at her just lay it out all over the court.
Oh! Tina Gradina.
That's not easy to do, especially with a defender like Nuss waiting for that shot. Gradina with a one-handed stab, and then this is somewhat of a little bit of a rainbow shot over the head of Nuss, and she just hoped for that ball to be out of bounds. She couldn't get a hand on it. What was it I was talking about with Nuss? She took it upon herself over the offseason to start to use her hands more, and now, I mean, she looks like she's been doing it her entire career. It looks great when she breaks out her hands, overhand set. It comes out nice and pretty, very still, and in a great position for Coppola.
I just can't believe that Kristen Nuss didn't have any beach experience in high school. And here she is at the ones for LSU, Holly.
Well, that's true. She played on the indoor team, and they kind of went as a group and played some beach, just having fun. And they were like, wow, we love this. So she and some of her high school teammates started a beach program. She's like, we were young girls playing in women's tournaments, and we would just get killed by the older women, but we didn't care. We loved it. So they really started that in New Orleans, Louisiana, not exactly a hotbed of beach volleyball, but To your point about her making the goal to come back with a handset this year, in her postseason meetings with Coach Brock, she's like, I'm going to come back with it. And she is such a go-getter that she did. She wanted to be the one that showed up for her teammate because it helps her with Coppola a little bit better, just getting that offense going a little bit quicker, a little more exact.
It's interesting. Some players like a bump set. Some players like an overhand, two-handed set. And it seems to work well. Nuss's hands, as I mentioned earlier, are really, we call it pretty hands when the ball comes out nicely. There's a little bump set.
Wow, for Coppola to rebound after falling right under the net.
She's done that a lot of different times where you don't think she's going to get there in time, and she does this late reaction. There it is again, just getting up high enough to get that ball over and win the point.
Going to 21 again in the second set. You have to win by 2.
It's interesting, Coach Brock also told us that Nuss will play this game as long as she can. She plans to turn professional and take it as far as possible, whereas Coppola, this will be it for her. She probably won't play volleyball after her collegiate career. It's always interesting. Everyone has their different paths and their different agendas. And she said she wants to get into medical device sales immediately and start working.
Yeah, she's already graduated, just a junior, but she is going to be in the one-year MBA program at LSU. What a benefit that will be, but yeah, she was a little sad about it.
I think she should continue on. I mean, trade this atmosphere in?
I don't think so.
I don't know about that.
Got to do what's best for you. That block was best for LSU.
I love how competitive Coppola is. You can tell she got frustrated with herself early on, and she has turned it around. Here's Coppola up. She stuffs the ball, and LSU trying to close the door on USC here in the semi.
For SEC baseball, Florida taking on number 8 Georgia. You can see that right now over on ESPN News. We will get you there as soon as we wrap up this semifinal duel between LSU and USC. Right now, LSU leading the overall duel 2-0. USC has got to win the matches on all 3 courts. You can see them all live streaming on the app. Let's get you to the threes.
Here at the threes, USC has been overpowering LSU. This physical team of Hallgren and Paletto have just been too strong to this point. They lead 14-9 here in the second set, make it 15-9.
LSU has changed their strategy. They started the first set on Hallgren. Now they're going to Paletto, who has some great offensive range. LSU was able to get 1 block, but for the most part, USC is dominating this second set. 7-2 run for USC.
Hallgren about to serve. Hallgren was a high school All-American, just a sophomore now. Rodriguez puts it down, the senior. Earlier in this set, she pulled the freshman Rasnik Pope aside and gave her a big-time pep talk, and they responded for a couple of points, but USC has just been too strong. That is an ace.
I love the aggressive serve. They're down. They were down by 5 and now going aggressive. She's in the corner, wind in her face. She can be very aggressive. Doesn't matter where it goes.
Rasnik Pope, one of the best freshmen in the country. She was on her conference's all-freshman team. And that goes long. Another point to LSU, and the Tigers are rallying. And USC getting close to winning the set at the 2s.
Paletto is saying that ball touched the LSU block, asking the up rough, the down rough, the lines person, but LSU and the referees saying no.
On the right side of your screen, Therese Cannon just had a big ace right before that point. That pass shanked off, point for LSU.
Another point for USC, and it's looking like that set is coming to a conclusion, which could be the match at the 2s.
There goes Sammy Slater on the attack. It is match point at the 2s. This would be the first point on the board for USC in the duel. Oh, touched by USC. Still match point on the right side.
USC getting closer to winning the match on the left side at the 3s.
Sammy Slater with the roll shot, and USC has a point on the board.
Another final coming in from the 2 pairs, USC Slater and Cannon defeat LSU Powers and Agnew. 2 sets to 9.
Net violation by Tony Rodriguez for LSU. They are running everywhere, trying to stay alive, but now calling a timeout. So much momentum for this USC 3-pair right now.
We're getting into a situation where the duel could end very quickly if USC can hang on at the 1s and the 3s. The 3s are in the lead 18-12 over at the 1s. They're up 17-13 USC is as well, right, Courtney?
Yeah, just a point right there, though, from LSU. Claire Coppola extending this 17-14 USC lead.
Yeah, this is nice. It comes down to Coppola and Nuss, the strongest team, and the pressure is going to be on their court because it looks like USC is going to win at the 2 and they've already won at the 2, at the 3 spot. They got to dig deep right now.
Oh, Gradina took the option, but Coppola said nope.
Coppola not fooled by the over on 2. There's a beautiful dig by Bustamante, and then Gradina tries to catch LSU off guard, and look how pumped up Coppola is. Just a slim 2-point lead. Oh, that ball not even close to clearing the net, so a free point, and if you're USC, you'll take any free points that you can get from this team of Coppola and Nuss.
USC has to win this match and at the 3s to advance.
Oh, wow, a huge error by Tina Gradina. A big opportunity, Bustamante laying it out. But give credit to LSU, putting the ball in a tough situation for USC to convert to offense.
Perfect angle for Gradina.
A nice little roll shot right there, and that's what makes her so special, is that she has power and she has finesse, and she seems to know exactly when to use it.
3s on the right side of your screen. USC has to win both of these matches.
And USC getting closer and closer at the 3s as well.
A big ace at the 1s. Brings up match point.
USC 2 points away at the 3s. They could steal this duel by sweeping the 1s through 3s.
Oh, Nuss. Still match point for USC at the 1s.
Paletto long.
Point LSU at the 3s, still 19-14.
Match point attacking error for USC. Watch out, Trojans at the 1s.
Yeah, that was interesting. Bustamante hit that ball directly into the net. We always talk about fatigue. Maybe it's starting to kick in.
Match point USC at the 3s.
USC needs to win both of these. You can check off the 1s. The duel is tied.
So it all comes down to the threes. Match point, which is dual point. USC comes from 2-0 down to win the duel 3-2 and set up a classic national championship against UCLA. What a hard-fought performance by LSU representing the East. LSU gave it everything they could, but USC comes from 2-0 down to advance to its third NCAA championship duel.
The pressure from USC too much, owning the net, some aggressive serving, and they just wore LSU down with their tough defense.
This has been a team that has dealt with adversity since they arrived at Gulf Shores, losing their opening duel. They have fought back through the elimination bracket, down 2-0 today. Can they keep the run going against their arch rival, UCLA? Coming up next on ESPN2, we will have college baseball between Florida and number 8 Georgia. But remember, our NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship coverage will continue at 2 Eastern on ESPN. I don't need to say anything else other than USC versus UCLA. Thanks for joining us, everyone. So long from Gulf Shores.